Lights down low, the credits start to fade. Get ready for the cinematic parade. Got your hosts right here, yeah, Ned and Joe. We're gonna drag you to the movies.
Welcome to the Drag Me to the Movies podcast. I'm Ned.
And I'm Joe.
In this episode, we're going to discuss the movie High Fidelity from the year 2000, directed by Stephen Frears and stars John Cusack, Ibn Yayla, Todd Louiso, Jack Black, Lisa Bonet, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Joan Cusack, Tim Robbins, and Lily Taylor. So, Joe, what did you think of High Fidelity?
Well, let's start with the top 5 reasons I like this film.
Ooh.
All right. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not that crafty. So all right, let's try it. Top 5 reasons I like this film. It breaks the fourth wall.
Yes, it does.
It's got John Cusack.
That's true.
It's got good music.
It does, yeah.
It's got Jack Black.
It definitely does.
And it's really well written.
I would agree. There you go. Top 5 reasons to watch High Fidelity right there from Joe. Episode over.
What are your top 5, Ned?
Wait, for liking it?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I feel like the number one reason for me, I definitely feel, is the music and overall vibe to this movie. I thought they did a great job of pulling all that stuff together. Number 2 is the writing.
Guess your number 2? Oh, it's the right. Okay, I'm gonna guess your number 3 then.
Okay, all right, go for it.
All right, your number 3 is Ian. You really like Ian?
No. I mean, Tim Robbins is a good guy, but Ian is kind of a Steven Seagal looking a-hole on this
yeah, he's
film.
Real creepy.
So yeah. So number 3, I would have to give credit to, I guess, the top 5 stuff. I love everything in this movie that kind of is a top 5 reference, and people going through lists. That's something I've always kind of enjoyed, hearing people's thoughts on those things. So that definitely fits. Jack Black, I mean, this movie is pretty much like, not his first, obviously, but I feel like this is around the time that him and Tenacious D and stuff started to really kind of take off and become popular. So I do credit this movie as one of his, career launching opportunities. And number 5, I'm just gonna kind of go with, it's got some great references to other source material, like books, records. These things matter. They talk about Evil Dead 2. Have you seen Evil Dead 2 yet, Joe?
I have not.
Does that give you the impression you want to see Evil Dead 2?
I'm not sure.
But yeah, those are my top 5.
Okay. All right, so now let's get back to the normal format of this podcast. So, one of the things I talk to you about quite often is, films are meant to trigger a emotional response sometimes, right? Like that's how like they pull you in, right?
Yeah.
This one definitely did for me.
Okay, good.
But it wasn't a good way. It wasn't a positive. It wasn't a positive one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. It didn't affect how I enjoyed the film.
Okay.
It's just that I kind of wish that I would have been more in John Cusack's camp. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
Rob very much has tried to be portrayed, I think, in this film as like a downtrodden, like you want to see him win kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to see him win in this film, mainly because he's kind of a douche in a way. So now I said that out loud, how do you feel about that? Do you think that Rob was kind of portrayed as a douchebag, or do you think he was really just a downtrodden guy?
I don't. I mean, obviously he's going through a breakup and kind of on the downer side of things, but in general, like him and even like the other guys at the championship final, they are kind of snobby, kind of elitist as far as like music and their opinions on it, and if you don't align with them, you are pretty much beneath them. So I can see how you got there, and especially the fact that like he reflects on these relationships in such a way that he doesn't realize that he's the problem in some of those cases, which, overall, I feel like him going through this kind of helps him grow a little bit, but
It
at the
does.
same time, it's not as much as maybe you would have hoped.
Yeah. So I didn't put as much of the douchebag rating into the pretentiousness of him in the record store.
Okay.
It was more of how he treated the women in his life, in like especially like earlier in the film. But you did bring up a good point of like the redemption arc of
Hmm.
him kind of realizing it throughout the film.
Right.
And that's why I'm going to reiterate, like I didn't hate this film. But it definitely made me like feel a lot of things, right? Of like, uh like I said, this like a lot of the reflection, especially when he's going back, and well, I guess at the beginning he's talking about top 5 breakups, right? And he goes through
Yep.
5 of his exes and stuff. And you're right, in most cases he's the problem. And he doesn't admit it at first. He's very much of like, it's not my fault, why did they do that, yada yada yada.
Yeah. And he's
um
in the search of why.
right. And then it starts to dovetail when Liz confronts him afterwards about how he treated Laura, you know um and again, it's more kind of like self-centered douchiness that I kind of got out of that, again, of like, he had a good girlfriend, he wasn't committed,
He slept
he
with
cheated
someone else
on
while she
her.
was pregnant, which
Right,
led
like,
to an abortion.
right.
Yeah.
And just again, like, there's all these things of like, yeah, they're mishaps that happened, right? And we're human, we make them and stuff, but like, I think I would have rather seen it end where, maybe he did find himself, but he didn't end up with Laura. Because I feel like at the end, like, Laura also didn't have the self-esteem to walk away from Rob in this film. So like,
Hmm.
I don't know, like, that's kind of where I I think I had all of the emotion, is that like, clearly, Rob is trying, but at the same time, he's kind of like, I don't know, just immature, I guess, in this film, and the way he handles relationships. And,
Yeah,
you
I would
know,
agree
I
with
just,
that.
I just don't see how, like, I don't know, like, it just felt like he's being rewarded for his immaturity in this film. And I don't know, I feel like, sure, that happens in real life, but like, at the same time, like, I don't know that that's necessarily something I want to see in a film,
Yeah.
per se.
Like he
So,
as Laura says, he's the guy that's pretty much the same person and
right, it
hasn't
doesn't grow.
changed, right?
Right.
Where she's obviously advancing her career and making a little more money and all that stuff, and yeah.
Right. But I mean, then at the same time, though, I look at it like, like, she's just broke up with him, right? And she's moved in with Ian.
Hmm.
Um, and, like, basically sleeping around and stuff. And so is he. And like, just in my mind, it's very immature, especially like if you're looking at like the age that they're supposed to be, it just to me feels
Like
like
late
I'm
30s,
I'm
early
watching.
40s, I'm assuming.
Right. Yeah, I'm just watching a couple immature people like ruin each other's lives, and
Right.
then it pays off for them, kind of thing. And it's like, I don't really want to see that. It kind of is like in the same vein of like when you watch a film and the bad guy wins at the end, like, or something, along those lines. But again, I know I'm coming off as being harsh on that. It's just that's the emotional response that I got in watching
Hmm.
this film. But that being said, like, John Cusack is one of my, favorite actors. So like, he did a phenomenal job in this film. I think that's a testament of how harshly I felt about, or how harshly I felt the emotions, was how well it was delivered.
Hmm.
He played the character of Rob really well. And same with is it Eben or Ibn? I don't know how.
I went with
Which is,
Eben.
we'll agree to disagree,
Yeah.
right? Laura,
Yeah. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
she was also phenomenally act. Jack Black and Todd Luizzo did fine for what they were in the film. Lisa Bonet, as Marie DeSalle, was fine. For the little part that she played, basically, kind of a, you know, I don't know how basically like a side story, I guess, or a
Hmm.
side moral to the
Right.
story, I guess, is where
Yeah.
she played, right? So, like that's part of the growth arc for, Rob, and she does a good job at playing that. Tim Robbins as Ian does a good job at being kind of the creepy neighbor guy. And one of my favorite scenes in the film is where Rob is imagining what he's doing to Ian when he comes to the store.
Hmm.
Like that was pretty funny because, like, yeah, Tim Robbins really gave like the ick feel with Ian, so that was really well done.
One of my favorite scenes in this is the part where he's like at home and laying in bed and realizes that they listened to him while he was having sex, and he's like, "No
Yeah,
woman in history is of the world is having better sex than the sex you are having with Ian in my head." Like,
yeah,
oh,
yep,
and then he just loses it. Oh, so good.
yeah, yep, yeah, and so uh it's funny, like I said, in that I didn't relate with. Well, I wouldn't say I didn't relate. I didn't want to see Rob win, but having gone through breakups recently, right? Like a lot of the way John Cusack portrays the breakups and like how you're in your own head about stuff afterwards. Like
Hmm.
I thought that was really well portrayed and really well done.
Yeah.
Um, because I know like that happened to me, post breakups of, just imagining worst case scenarios and, being your own worst enemy when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So again, the film is really well done. It's just again that emotion. And maybe it's timing, maybe it's one that I need to revisit again and see if it changes the emotional reaction that I have. So let's see here. So yeah, so I call out like if there's a lot of like kind of funny things like so I've never really been like a music head in that I went to like a music store to hang out.
Okay.
But you and I have hobbies where we've probably done that for something else, right? Like so like I'm big into like wargaming and stuff like that. So I've gone to stores just to hang out, at like a board gaming store just to hang out and talk to the people like that are there, working and similar people shopping around and stuff. Have you ever done that with comic books?
Um, kind of like so I would go comic book hunting with a friend.
Hmm.
And we would always kind of just shoot the shit and look for comics.
Hmm.
Sometimes we would end up talking to the clerks and owners.
Right.
But yeah, usually it was mostly us just going back and forth and highlighting the different things we'd find.
Hmm. Yeah. So I kind of related with that side of it. I think that's why, like when you said about, yeah, they're kind of pretentious, in
Hmm.
the music store, like
Right.
that didn't bother me so much because I've been exposed to that
You've
before, I
witnessed it.
guess. Right. I've been
Yeah.
part of that. So that was, I think, pretty cool. And I think that was really well done too. And, the dynamic between Dick, Barry, and Rob. Like they're all kind of goofy in their own way. Definitely have conflicting personalities. Like Dick's the quiet one, like shy one.
Hmm.
Barry's the loud one, and then Rob's kind of like the in between them all. The one holding everything together. So like I enjoyed that whole side of it. I thought that was done really well. It was interesting to me how Rob turned into like wanting to open his own record label. That was
Hmm.
interesting to me because I didn't see that coming.
Well, it was also
Like that
kind of
was
something that evolved from what Laura was pushing him to do.
right, right, and get him out of his comfort zone, kind of thing.
Right.
Um, yeah. So that was kind of a neat thing, um, finding how he leaned back into the DJ side of it that he used to do, kind of, again, as part of his character building arc, reliving that side of it. I think they also portray like how Rob kind of like is very like self-critical on how he comes off, like as far as like being cool, or trying to be cool. And they show how like when Laura sets up the uh CD launch, how he's trying to pay people not to go because he's afraid he's going to be portrayed as like not cool or
Right.
it's going to go over poorly and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
again, forcing him out of his comfort zone and growing from that, because ultimately what was they changed their band name 3 times. I can't even remember what they were, but Jack Black's band, kills
Right.
it. And so yeah, so there's definitely a lot of lessons learned if you watch close enough. There's also a lot of relatability again, if you've ever gone through heartbreak. I'm sure there's a lot of relatability for, again, the people who did have kind of like revenge sex and all that kind of stuff, after a breakup and all that. Like it's it is human nature, I know it happens. But yeah, just overall it's very, very much not like a, like, I know we talked about this last time about this being a comedy. Like, yeah, it's a comedy, but it's very, very much like a gritty comedy in my mind.
Kind of darkish.
It's right. Um, and I respect that. I think it's well done. I am curious. Like, I saw at the end that it was based off a book.
Yes.
Have you
Yep.
have you read the book?
I have not.
Okay. I'm curious how true it is to that. Overall, but yeah. So overall, I definitely enjoyed this. It definitely makes you feel some things, makes you think about some things in a different light. And again, I think it's really well done. So that's my 2 cents on it, Ned. What did I miss, and what would you add?
I mean, honestly, like as I mentioned earlier, Jack Black is a standout here for me. Like anything from the whole fact that he comes in with a mixtape ready to go, and you know, he's trying to get him to turn it off. He's like, it won't go any louder. Like it's
Yeah.
just great stuff like that. And then the whole Cosby sweater joke, the
Yep.
fact that we have Lisa Bonet in here. She was on the Cosby Show, if I remember correctly. So like
Mm-hmm.
some Cosby references before the whole, bad side of Cosby.
Yep.
One detail, I don't know if you caught it or not, but there's the scene where he's reflecting on Ian being the upstairs neighbor. Laura is reading a book named Love Thy Neighbor while they're laying in
Oh,
bed.
I didn't see that.
So that's just kind of a little funny thing that I picked up this time around that I hadn't before. There's the whole scene where Jack Black is kind of really criticizing that older man who's, saying that I'm picking up a song for my daughter, and
Right.
it's just, I called to say I love you. He's like, what, is she in a coma? Like, come
Yeah.
on. I also like really appreciate, and I don't think I would ever be able to do with this with anything I've ever collected, but Rob taking the time to order things in autobiographical order. Like that's just freaking crazy to me.
Yeah.
That like have you, is there
Yeah,
anything in your life you could do that with?
Oh boy. Huh. I don't think so. Like I don't know that anything in my life has been constant enough that was affected by emotion
Mm-hmm.
or by growth. That's interesting. Cuz
Yeah.
even music, like for me, a lot of times, like even like I feel like the older I've gotten, the more I get into the lyrics and what they mean.
Okay. Yeah.
But as a youngster, I didn't. I was more of like what the music felt like, what the beat felt like, not necessarily what was being said, but just, the that deep down emotion that it triggered. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
To like an example, two examples actually. Is so I've always liked Matchbox 20. Do you like Matchbox 20?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. So 3 a.m. You're familiar with that song, right? Do you
I
like
am.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what it's about?
No, not off the top of my head. It's been a
Yeah.
minute
So
since I've heard it too.
I always figured it was a love song, like a breakup or like an initial relationship type thing, because it's 3 a.m. It must be lonely kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But it's actually about Rob Thomas taking care of his dying mother, who had cancer when he was a child.
Oh.
So like like that was something like it's again art in that it's up for interpretation, and that's something Rob Thomas said is when he wrote it. Like he didn't tell anyone at first what it was about.
Right.
It was more of a, how did it relate to you? And another one from Matchbox 20 is Back to Good. Back to Good is up for interpretation in that, like, you know everybody's feeling the same way as everybody else. Could that mean like they feel bad together? Could it mean whatever? Turns out it's about like people who cheat, and how they all kind of feel the same and they don't feel great that they're doing it and all this kind of stuff. So like all that being said, is now as an adult, like I'm finding that I'm navigating more towards music that has lyrics that I can relate to,
Mhm.
or if it's old songs that I've listened to before, I'm starting to listen a little bit more to what's being said. So I feel like maybe now from like this point forward, I might be able to do that with music, but
Gotcha.
from the past, to answer your initial question, I don't really have anything like that. Do you?
I couldn't think of anything like if I did, it was probably like some type of small collection of something that I picked up. Like, I've been collecting knives, and I know a lot of the original knives I have, where they come from, who I got them from. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something like that. But anything that ends up getting like over 100 items or more, I'm like, probably not.
Right. Because like I'm thinking, what other things have I collected in time? And there's Legos, there's
Hmm.
board games, but the idea behind all of those is the fun aspect of it, right? Not
Right.
necessarily like the emotion you're getting from something.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, I don't know that I necessarily have anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
it's a good question though.
Yeah, cool. I also really like the cameo from the boss in here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do have one quote that I kind of thought was just a little fun as they bicker in the final store. Um, when Jack Black is attacking um, Dick for his opinion, he's like, how can it be bullshit to state a preference? Like, I love that quote.
Right.
So there's just a lot of little fun interactions with the guys working in the shop and out and about, bars hanging out. Um, and then, we kind of end the movie with "Let's Get It On," which I feel they did a very good job of carrying that forward in this movie, and
Yeah.
it was a nice high moment to end on, and overall had like a kind of feel good ending to it.
Right.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect. And I do have like one other, well, actually two questions. So first, would you or have you ever thought of owning like a little shop, kind of like the record store?
I have. I have, and I still would like to. I
Yeah.
just don't know when or how. Is
Okay.
those are the two things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to have just like a little shop that I could run, but also kind of hang out and enjoy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like the record store would be an equivalent to kind of like the kind of shop that I would want to run.
Okay.
Um, so what about you?
I've always kicked around a comic book shop, but I
Hmm.
know that is a challenge. I mean, any little shop, especially like a brick and mortar type thing nowadays, is definitely going to be a challenge to get people in. And that's why, like, a lot of comic book shops, they specialize in, card games and board games and other things to kind of draw people in. Um,
Right.
I don't know. I've thought about it, but I don't know if it's something that's realistic for me in the future.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I get that. But you never know.
mhm.
You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no to trying. Let's just put it at that.
Yeah.
And then the final thing, I don't know about you. I historically, like, I don't do it a lot now, but there was definitely a point in time where I made a lot of compilation tapes and CDs and
Hmm.
playlists. How much did you get into that type of thing?
So let me ask you a follow-up question. Are
Sure.
you saying this in general, or was there a theme that was going for it, or are you just leaving it open for interpretation?
I mean, I usually had a theme for mine, and like I had a process of like really going through listening to a song and be like, I want this one to be the starter, and then like listening to how that song ends, how can it lead into the next track, and either raise it or lower it, and kind of just play off of that, and have
Oh
10 to
wow.
20 songs that just play well together.
Yeah, no, I never went that deep. If
Okay.
anything, it was more of a what songs were the jams at the time that I wanted,
Okay.
and I just threw them on a CD and burn them.
Gotcha.
Or back in the day, it was listen to the radio, wait for the DJ to announce it, and then hit record on my tape cassette
Oh my
player,
god.
and record it that way.
Yeah.
But
The
yeah,
little
I
cassette
don't I
tapes.
never yeah I never tried to like EQ anything, or this one needs to be first, this one needs to be second. It was just more
Mhm.
of a, this is a vibe CD, and
Gotcha.
it went into the CD sleeve and above my visor.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely there was a period of time where I was trying to use like a blank cassette tape and record the radio, and I would always get pissed when the disc jockey's over talking on the track, and I'm like, "You
Mhm.
ruined it for me."
Yep.
So,
Yeah, right when it's fading out. Oh, next up on the WTFF3, like
yep,
you're like, shit. Yeah.
yep. That always annoyed me. But yeah, I overall I feel that this movie is definitely one of my favorites. I don't know how high on my favorites it would be, but it's definitely one that I like to revisit every. I would say probably 5 years at least, if not more frequently.
Hmm.
So, but I'm
Cool.
happy that you. It sounds like you liked it, even though there were some challenges with the characters and their morals and views on things. But in general, it sounds like you overall liked it. So
Yeah.
let's talk scores. Where would you put High Fidelity?
So, in top 5 numbers to choose for a score, I gave this one a 4 out of 5, Ned.
A 4 out of 5.
I did.
Okay,
All right.
nice.
What did you give it?
I also gave it a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
I previous like I this one did jump up by a half star because I did have this at a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
But yeah, this go around, it definitely registered a little bit more, and I definitely enjoyed it more. So
Very cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad this is one that was recommended, because I don't know that I would have looked into it otherwise.
Well, it's funny you say that. Like, I ended up, I think, if I recall correctly, a friend of mine, like, I had a group of friends in high school that we would get together and, make little short comedy movie type things and just hang out. We
Hmm.
were over at my one friend's house, and another friend brought this movie for us to watch. And yeah, we had a great time with it. So nice. All right. You have anything more you'd like to add?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So let's talk next recommendation. I got
Okay.
4 movies. I'm going to throw it at you real quick. We got Unforgiven, Kingpin, Memento, or we still have Dick there.
I think we're gonna go Unforgiven.
Unforgiven? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Do you know anything about it?
I imagine that they want to be forgiven, but they're not.
You're not entirely wrong. So Unforgiven is one of the movies that was directed by Clint Eastwood. He also
Okay.
stars in it. It's
Okay.
got Gene Hackman kind of plays the antagonist, and we got Morgan Freeman in it. So it's definitely a Western styled film, maybe a little bit more on the serious side, just to kind of set that up for you. And
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like it's a good balance of things, and it's definitely one that I think I usually rank pretty high. So I'm curious to hear what
Okay.
your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it's all about.
Awesome. All right, well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Be sure to check us out on Threads and Facebook at To The Movies Pod, and we're also on YouTube, which is where you can actually interact with us a little bit in the comments, and that's at The Movies Pod. And just a reminder, we have a website known as Film Jokers, where we post articles and things that you can enjoy while we're not doing the podcast. So, thanks for joining.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.